All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday if you're watching this live, and happy whatever day it is if you're watching it on replay. So glad that you all are joining us here for this wonderful show today. Welcome in to the chat as you guys trickle in. Emma, thank you so much for popping in and saying hello. Enjoy the replay and enjoy your day. Thank you for stopping in. All right. So first and foremost, I think I will just pop up the old website here. Remind you guys that I've got my bookings over on my website, as well as lots of information around my hypnosis services here. If you go on over to the bookings page, they'll bring you on over and you can schedule anything from your free preliminary consultation, higher guidance hypnosis, future life progression, super easy and slick over there on my site. So definitely check that out. And then I did also want to share with you guys that next week I'm having the amazing, wonderful Leah Reinhardt on my channel. This is my aunt, actually. So we are family, but it's been super fun to explore these sorts of topics together. And I'm so excited to have her on the channel talking about her kind of wheelhouse, which is manifestation. I know a little bit about it. I don't necessarily work with it super closely. So I'm so excited to be in conversation with her and really get into how she works, what she has to offer, and all of her knowledge around manifestation. It's going to be a great show. So definitely don't miss that next Friday at 5 p.m. I will pop this down.
I just wanted to say real quickly, I'm super excited for the interview with Leah. I think I mentioned this in chat last week, but she and I just did a little bit of service swapping. So I read a little bit for her from an astrology perspective, and she did some tarot for me. And we just had a wonderful time together. She is full of energy. I'm really excited for that interview, but I had just a really great reading with her. Which I wasn't expecting. I thought I was just doing astrology. And so, yeah, really excited to have Leah on and to share her and all about manifestation. I think she has a lot of cool stuff to offer.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's going to be great. So definitely tune into that next week. And today we are talking all about the Taurus new moon, which is happening on Sunday, right?
Sunday.
I have that right. Sunday. So we are excited to talk all about that. We're going to get into the astrology. We're going to share a little bit about how we work with the new moon and some tips and tricks around intentions and wish setting for this astrological event. And besides that, we are going to get into a activation after that. I'm going to share and lead you guys through an activation that's really around the themes of the Taurus new moon, and we'll get into those in just a moment. But before we do, we wanted to share a crystal spotlight first and foremost, because crystals are some of our favorite things. They are beautiful friends and great energies. And last week we had a lot of fun, or last show, I should say, we had a lot of fun picking out a crystal for the energies, and we had a good time this time too. So the crystal that we chose, I'll pop up here. Oh, no, gotta remove. Sorry, guys. One moment here. There we go. Perfect. The crystal we chose is adventurine. So this stone is a green stone typically, but there are other varieties. We'll show you that in a moment. But this is called the good luck stone. And we have a couple different examples that we have in the house of adventurine. And hopefully you can see a little bit of that shimmer in there, because it's just such a beautiful stone. And I really love this point that we have. It's super fun. Corbin has one as well.
Yeah, I have a fun little adventuring crystal resin skull. Jake and I like to craft a whole bunch, and this was actually a craft that he and I made. It's raw adventuring just in a UV resin.
Here, I should put you up on spotlight here if I can.
Oh, sure.
Can I get you up? Nope. There we go.
Yeah. Really pretty.
Isn't that fun? I mean, we
love wearing
that.
An adventuring bracelet today too.
Yes, perfect.
Lots of ways that you can incorporate into your life.
All right. So Adventuring, we chose for a couple different reasons. Green is definitely a Taurian color, but this is called the Good Luck Stone, and so really vibed with what we were feeling for this moon. Those of you who know Taurus themes, and Corbin will share more about this, but money is one of those things that falls under there, and so I feel like it fits with that and that abundance energy.
Yeah, Taurus is also a sign that's ruled by Venus, so we can talk about all of our creativity and our inspiration, how we like to express ourselves, and that which is pleasurable. And it seems like adventuring is a great pocket stone to have in moments like that. You can kind of program it and put the intention in there to be as creative or as open to inspiration as possible, and that can really help you to find that spark sometimes, just like how it shines in the light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one of the fun bits of information that we gathered as we were learning more about adventuring, prepping for this, was that adventuring is great for clearing pollution or like environmental toxins. And they were suggesting putting it in with your house plants to help protect them against pollutions and such. And so I thought that was such a wonderful little piece, because I know I normally think of plants protecting us from pollution. Spider plants and other plants are so great at like soaking the toxins out of the air and like keeping the air pure. And I thought that was a cute way that we could help support the plants back, right?
One also, I mean, it's Taurus season, so everyone's getting out and starting to garden as everything gets greener. I think adventuring would make a great garden rock as well, or a decoration in your garden.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And I just saw Sylvia pop into the chat. So hello, Sylvia. So good to see you. Thanks for watching, and thank you for coming so late, because I know it's late for you over there in your time zone. So definitely, if you fall asleep, it's all good. We will see you in the replay too. But thanks for stopping in. The other thing that we saw as far as adventuring goes is the little mica inclusions. So the adventuring is green quartz, and it has these mica inclusions, which are those little sparkly bits in there. And I really thought that was really resonant with this idea of shining bright, shining your light. These flecks of luminescence, kind of calling us and supporting us in shining brighter. So I think this would be a great stone with that theme, and the ideas of self-worth and valuing yourself, and kind of believing in yourself, I think are in line with this new moon. And I think the stone helps support in that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you're doing any sort of energetic work with yourself, adventuring is associated with the heart chakra. So you can use adventuring for a lot of like tune-ups for your heart. I think that there's quite a bit going on in the world right now. I know I've had a lot of folks reach out to me this week about the astrology. So adventuring might be a great helper to find that peace and calm throughout everything that's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other bit of information that I wanted to share about adventuring is that that mica inclusion, the sparkling effect from it, is called adventurescence, which I just love that word, adventurescence. So your adventuring with adventurescence is definitely the stone that we recommend for working with the new moon. Definitely other stones that are Taurian or work well with the themes here as well. But this was our pick, and if you've got some, I definitely recommend tuning into that, putting it in your pocket, or putting it near you this weekend as you're doing your rituals or your intentions. And yeah, a good stone for sure. Anything you wanted to add, Corbin?
No, I think that's great. I just love that we had so much of it laying around the house after, we kind of intuitively picked it. So it's good to have the examples.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I also wanted to show you guys this. I didn't know this, but adventuring is classically green. That's its normal, or I guess its most common color. But there is also red adventuring. There's yellow, there's blue, there's brown. And I think they were talking about a couple other colors even as well. And it depends on what minerals are mixed up in the quartz, I believe, that determines that coloring. But all of them have those mica inclusions, those sparkles. And I thought it was really cool, the variety of colors that adventuring came in. All right. All right. Well, with crystals out of the way and with all of that discussed, I think it is time for us to jump into the astrology here. So, Corbin, I will hand it over to you, and you can take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So this is a really lovely new moon that we have going on later this weekend. It'll be on the 27th, 3:30. That's Eastern time. You can always adjust for your time zone. Of course, the moon is in Taurus for about 2.5 days. I always kind of look at when the moon is actually in the sign, for the bigger time frame that this is really active here. But we would want to definitely start as you're thinking about how this translates to your own life. Like I said, this is a moon in Taurus at 7 degrees. You would want to grab your chart and, find where do you have Taurus? What house does that rule? Because you're going to see a lot of action coming up from that place personally for you. And beyond just finding where Taurus is in your chart, I think it's really important right now that we find all of the fixed signs that are in your chart. So there's 4 of them. Opposite Taurus would be Scorpio. And then there's the pairing of Leo and Aquarius. There is really a lot going on in the fixed signs right now, which we'll talk about as we get in here deeper. But I would venture to guess that those are some of the more active places where you're seeing resonances of these themes coming up for you. So to start with, like, what is a new moon and why is it so exciting? When we put the sun and the moon together in the same spot, it really is this sort of cosmic alignment between different lunar and celestial bodies that put us on the right mission. If we think about the sun being a reflection of divine wisdom or guidance or just the flow of life as we move through day to day, when the moon comes together with the sun, all of a sudden that divine wisdom aligns with ourselves, with our physical bodies, with our emotional lives, with everything that we're feeling. And this is why we talk about the new moon as a great time to be setting intentions, to be planting new seeds, because that which you're intending on or that which you're planting right now is really aligned with the cosmic season that's going on. So what is Taurus all about? Well, at this moment in time, Taurus, which is a fixed earth sign, is really reminding us to slow down, to find stability, to touch grass. We talk about grounding with Taurus. Taurus is also known for, taking a break and enjoying the simple pleasures of life. The roses are blooming where you are, it's time to stop and smell the roses. Inside of this season, a fixed moment in time is really when the true essence of that season comes into being. So we see spring at its full bloom here with all the green and all the flowers, all the sweet fragrances. That really is different from where we came from in Aries season, where it was about the hustle and the bustle of the go and, birthing anew. Taurus helps us to calm down and to take a break after that big push of energy that was required for Aries. It's just such a big reminder to go back to the basics and to take care of the material, to take care of yourself. Taurus is represented by the bull. And I often think about how cows like chew their cud and they're like slow to kind of process things in a sense, whether that be like both emotionally or physically, as we think about the rumination or how, the cud can come back up for a second point in time and more chewing or masticating can help you kind of get to a different place. I also think of that Taurus is a Venus ruled sign. And so everything in Taurus season has to deal with peace and harmony, balance, equality. All these things come into play. There's been such big shifts going on inside of the world right now, especially from an astrological perspective, as more and more outer planets begin to shift signs. And we really begin to see more and more planets move into air and fire signs. We're really ushering in a new era. And so this new moon can be about a time to commit to that piece, to think about how you're dealing with some of these bigger shifts that are going on. How are you, dealing and adjusting with them? How are you integrating some of these? A Taurus moon would ask you to take, a moment in time to address those kind of physical things. I always like to look to the ruler of the sign that we're in to get more information about what's going on inside of the lunation cycle. And so for this one, we're looking at Venus again, which if you were here for the Libra full moon, that was also a big Venus moment in time. And that still continues here. Venus is still in Pisces. She's at 28 degrees of Pisces, with Saturn still very close by at 27 and the North Node at 25. So we still have that same combination of planets that we had 2 weeks ago. And this story of Venus, Saturn, and the nodes has really been playing out. I've been hearing a lot about it from friends and family and clients of mine. And so I just wanted to take a moment here and just, allow everyone to check in with themselves and think about how you are doing and how you are handling this kind of intense moment of endings, closures, relevations. We see so much happening on an external and on a mundane level. There've been really global things that have happened in the last week or so that make me think about this signature here with Venus, Saturn, and the North Node. One of the first things that came to mind was, the passing of the Pope earlier this week, with Pisces representing, spirituality, Saturn, the end of things, North Node, karmically fated things, big shifts. But rather than staying on that larger level, maybe we should drill it down a little bit to how we've been experiencing ourselves on a personal level. I've heard a lot about relationships that are coming to an end, whether they be professional, personal, or even a change in a relationship with yourself. Venus and Saturn and the North Node together can really ask for some sort of commitment towards relationships, or about being more mature about how you treat a particular relationship. At the same time, maybe you're not the one who's, going through the transit so hard here. But I also think that there's quite a few of us who are being called to support those who are going through these big changes. Venus would be how we care for those who are going through these sorts of situations. Another level where I've really seen the Venus, Saturn, North Node story come out is through the financial and the material things that are going on. I'm hearing a lot from folks about how there's changes in their tastes, how people are reconsidering how they're spending their spare time and what they're doing for fun and pleasure. A lot around the topics of materialism and consumption, and an understanding that some of the excess needs to go. And just a reminder that as Venus, Saturn, and the North Node work together to kind of close out and clear out and bring endings to a certain place in your life, while at the same time is just creating that space and that void for the newness to come in. I wrote down here dissatisfaction that leads to change. And I think there's a lot of ways where we're realizing that what used to be right, what did align, is all of a sudden, not as pleasing as it used to be. One of the things that I like to caution folks of right now, while we still have a lot of intense Pisces energy, is how are you dealing with all of this? The shadow side of Pisces would be to kind of escape and to run away from some of these things, and to, even just ignore, or, to, like last time I talked about rose-colored glasses quite a bit. And there's definitely an element here right now where we're being asked to be mature about our emotional standpoint, mature about how we handle these relationships, and really kind of take in these cosmic truths and wisdom. I always think about I say this far too often in sessions, but from Lord of the Rings, Frodo didn't go back to the Shire. We go through experiences and we're forever changed. Venus, Saturn in the North Node right now, that's one of those moments that is shifting our realities so that we can't go back to the Shire anymore. What's really cool, though, is something is closing out. There's a lot of newness coming in. More and more planets will be entering Aries this year, and we'll continue to see new topics, new dreams, new aspirations, new structures, and the birthing of a new reality. Back to what happened with the Pope, I heard a little bit from some family members who were, thinking about religion, thinking about the religious structures that are out right now, thinking about what could this all mean. And at the same time, while people are stressing about the old, I was reading some news about life in space, and someone just found like the most clear evidence out there right now that there's biosignatures on a particular planet that was like 124 light years away. And so as one chapter closes, another thing opens at the same time. And so if you're struggling with some of the closures right now, I just want to suggest, keep in mind, keep a broad vision. There is something that is burgeoning and coming forward for you. The universe is creating a larger, gap or space or hole in your life. Well, something will be coming in soon to be filling that. So that's Venus, Saturn, and the North Node. I think the other big thing that's going on inside of this lunation here is the Mars-Pluto opposition. And this is actually really has been what I've been hearing the most from folks inside of this week about. Lots of calls to me saying, Corbin, what's going on with our chart? And that's always really fun. But the more that this happened throughout the week, I thought, oh, this is a whomper of a transit. A lot of folks are really starting to feel this. And so I really noticed on Monday and Tuesday, back to the notion of the fixed signs. So if you have Taurus or Leo or Aquarius or Scorpio, perhaps as a rising, or your sun, maybe you felt this a little bit earlier in the week. I think as the week has moved on, more and more of us have been like, oh, what's that in the air? And so a lot of astrologers have been talking about this configuration that's happening right now as a grand fixed cross. We have, and I pulled this fun little image here from an app that I have that kind of shows from a solar perspective where everything is. And what I loved from this image here is that you can see on, so we have the Earth on the right-hand side. Beyond that is Pluto, and then closer to us would be Mars. So you can kind of just see that straight line that happens all the way through. That's really creating that opposition between Mars and Pluto. But then at the same time, you can also see the sun as it's creating that T-square. And then the other point of that element or the grand fixed cross would be Black Moon Lilith. That's just a point of the moon. She's not actually on this map here. But, I just love, you can look at charts and you can think about a particular way, but ancient astrologers, they looked up at the sky. And so it's always fun for me to kind of look at how the planets are in the sky right now as we're thinking about the energies that are going on. So Mars and Pluto are in this opposition, and that's at the 3rd degree of Leo or Aquarius, Mars in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius. This is really a crossroads when you think about, the four celestial bodies kind of coming together. And I think this crossroads really helps us to close out the old, to align ourselves with the higher vision of our higher self, and to get us on the path with that new. So like I said earlier, you're going to want to find all the fixed signs inside of your chart. They'll make a low square on there. It'd be 1, 4, 7, 10, 2, 5, 8, 11, or 3, 6, 9, 12. And those would definitely relate to a very specific flavor that's going on in your life and in your world. This can really help to own in. Although I have to say, I think most of us are feeling it. I don't think you need your chart to locate what's going on here. As I've been talking about this with friends, colleagues, clients, a lot of topics around fear and anger coming up, a lot of topics coming up around disappointment, and a lot of topics around the shadow aspect of self. Pluto is really known for kind of bringing up any of those darker emotions, deeper feelings, difficult situations, traumas, shadows. And I think that all of the difficulty that might be trudged up by Pluto right now is really just to, bring light to it so that we can clear it and move forward. But I think a lot of people right now are fearing that newness or the unknown of what's coming in, or even fear of a lack of stability, as our fixed signs are known for being steadfast, for being solid, for being permanent. And there's aspects in the sky right now that are saying some of these permanent structures need to change a little bit here. And so Mars in Leo really wants us to be moving forward, guided by passion, guided by your heart or your inner child. Mars was in Cancer for so long. This is a big shift in energy, and it just really amplifies all of the Aries excitement to go forward and to start anew, since we have trines from Leo in Aries to all of the planets, or excuse me, Mars in Leo trining all the planets that are in Aries. And so while many of us may be ready to go and we're like excited and, passionate with Mars, there is a little bit of a tension between the head and the heart here, between Aquarius and Leo. And that's something that needs to be addressed as we move forward. Pluto's looking for authenticity. Pluto's looking for a change in power dynamics. Pluto's looking for a change in the systems and the structures. And so if you find yourself triggered or in a place of fear, that's really par for the course of the moment. But it also is being brought up so that you can transmute it at this time. These cycles have been going on for a little bit. This is actually the third pass of Pluto and Mars, the third time that they're in opposition to each other. You might find resonances with what's going on this week with either the first pass that happened at the beginning of January this year, or all the way back to late October of last year and the beginning of November. So there's something about those two moments in time as it relates to your passions, your projects, what you're focused on, that we might see a continuation of that story here. Mars, once again, is outside of its retrograde. And so there's a little bit in the sauce about how have you owned your power? How are you addressing power dynamics in your personal life? Are they getting in the way of that which you're manifesting as new and creating? Is there something that you need to leave behind? This really is a double bolted underline of everything that's going on as well with Venus, Saturn, and the North Node, because there is, again, this element of a hard truth, something that challenges the sense of self, something that says, that old thing isn't going to work anymore. Pluto's really wanting that some sort of death, so that you can be reborn again in these areas of your house, or of your chart. So yeah, I think we're just it's an incredibly important choice point that's going on right now that really leverages themes of old versus new. The new might not be something that we fully understand. Aries, that big Aries vision that we all have coming in for the year, usually we're in Aries, we're moving blindly or just because of passion. We don't necessarily know where we're going. And right now it's all about being ready to bring in something new. So there is quite a bit of tension with this. But one of the positive things about tension is that it forces us to act. It forces us, in this case, to align with our higher self. So that's kind of the grand fixed cross that's going on right now. There's a few things that are happening before I see y'all next and we talk about the Scorpio full moon. So I just wanted to mention those real briefly. Pluto will go retrograde. This will be our first retrograde that we have with Pluto, where it stays inside of Aquarius. So that's a big shift. More about shadows coming to the surface, more that we need to uncover and transmute. Venus will move into Aries in just a few days. This can be seen as a big change with those relationships or with the value stories that are going on for you. As Venus moves into Aries, we'll see folks perhaps choose to go on their own accord or on their own path, perhaps not in partnership anymore or without that thing that used to be valuable for them. And then Mercury will move into Taurus in just a handful of days as well. That will really help us to focus on the harmony that's out there where we can find balance. And how do we hold true to the new values and desires that are burgeoning as we continue to be initiated by all the Aries energy this year. So that's the astrology in a nutshell, and love to chat with anyone more about it.
Mm-hmm. I did want to bring up a couple comments here. Beth was saying Venus conjunct Vesta in my chart. Sacred relationship, my 7th house. I keep feeling like a new partner is near, whether romantic or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely important to look at your own chart when you're thinking about these energies and thinking about the astrology, because obviously it's going to be unique for you and how that shows up. There's of course the bigger collective things, but especially on that individual level, it's going to be in different houses or in different places, activating different planets in your birth chart. So definitely a good note there.
Mm-hmm.
And another great comment from Beth was Grand Cross when the Pope expires. Can't make it up.
Right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah, it's really funny in my personal life. In my corporate world, I hear people say things about divinatory tools and stuff like that. And it's just like, you really can't make this up. It's far too real. Oh, wow. Yeah. Another Venus and Aries. Jake, you too, right?
Yeah. Sylvia, we are both the same. We got Venus and Aries. So definitely, we should probably talk, because I feel like you've probably been feeling some of the crazy shifts that I have too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Definitely, it's always curious to see how it plays out, because we can have our guesses. We can look at the astrology and think about the archetypes or think about the themes, but the way reality plays out is usually a little more nuanced, a little different than maybe we expect. We had Mama Sushi saying, thanks so much for stopping in, Mama Sushi. Yeah, I feel so much pressure from the stars to move out and get a divorce, but I'd rather not. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes our heads are not necessarily where the energies are, or it can take some work on our part to align there. But of course, doing what's best for you and what you feel is the right path for you, regardless of what the stars say, because as I like to think of it, the stars are a reflection of us. I mean, these are it's that as above, so below, not necessarily the stars making us do things or working their like magic on us. It's a relationship. It's a reflection, a mirror type of thing. So I don't know if you have anything to add there, Corbin, but
No. This is great. I love it.
Oh, and thank you, Beth. I agree. Corbin, the explanation was so layered and comprehensive, so deep. Oh my gosh, Beth, you're Venus and Aries too. I guess it's just a Venus and Aries kind of night today.
Spicy, y'all. Spicy.
Oh my gosh, I love it. All right. Well, I think at this point we are going to transition to talking about intentions and wishes, because as Corbin had mentioned, setting intentions or planting seeds, starting new things is in line with the new moon, and we have definitely found a lot of fun and a lot of impact from setting wishes at the new moons and working in this way with the astrological energies. So we did have a couple books that we like to pull from and that we like to reference when we're doing these sorts of things. So one of them is this book here, Jan Spiller, New Moon Astrology. And we have a couple of the wishes and intentions that we wanted to read from this. So we'll get into that a bit more, but it's really great because it talks about not only the themes and such with each of the new moons, but then it also really dives deep into sample wishes and ideas for you to work with the energies, whatever theme you're looking to tackle or you're looking to focus on for your intentions. And then Corbin has another book he wanted to show too.
Mm-hmm. Moon Cycles, In Tune with Your Moon. This is Barbara Goldsmith. Some folks might know her as Braca. Used to be big on YouTube. Sending love and blessings to Braca. But another really great book, super fun, really relevant for all the lunar cycles. Has a lot of great activities to do that relate with each moon. And yeah, there's some of my original go-to sources on how I started to kind of create these practices for myself. And I didn't really know much about manifestation or intention setting before I actually had that Jan Spiller book. So that one really taught me a lot about it. One of the first things that I learned from that Jan Spiller book was that it's really important to write down your intentions and your wishes within about an 8-hour period of that new moon. Now, I tend to be a little bit more generous with myself and allow it to be just inside of the sign that we're having the lunation cycle in. I think some people would allow even for up to 3 days after, but I think the closer you can get it to when that moment is exact, you're better to be aligned with the cosmic energies as they're coming in. And the moon is so important for any sort of manifestation.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Laura. So great to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I do think these are cool books. So I don't know if you have them or if you just know of, but yeah, these are fun ones to work with. The next thing that we wanted to mention as far as wishes and intentions go, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with this idea, but when we are making wishes, when we are setting intentions, we want to do that for ourselves, not for other people. And I definitely think about this in a concept of free will and self-authority, and this idea that when you're making wishes, especially when you're working with the astrology in this way, you're believing that they're going to happen. I mean, these wishes are going to come true. And so if you're setting these intentions or you're making wishes for others, you may inadvertently be overriding their free will and their life path, their journey, because we never know what other people are meant to go through, what they've chosen for this incarnation. And I think that it's really important to make sure that we are focusing on ourselves with this and really focusing on what's best for us and what we want to work with and what we want to make happen, so that we're not taking over someone else or making them do something or forcing something into their realm or their world without the consent.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love this, Laura.
I know, I love it too. This is really great.
I'm getting paper that will melt in water so I can toss the written intentions in the lake. I love that so much, Laura, because we definitely have worked with the elements when we're looking at the moons, and burning stuff when it's a fire, putting it in water when it's water, or burying your intentions. We've did that before with potted plants. You bury it when you're planting that plant, and so really fun way to incorporate the elements.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Laura, I really do love this, but I have to say this year I'm trying my best to keep all of the magic that I do, everything written down in one place. I took a course on planetary magic, and I just I kind of find it important to be able to look back at what I did and what I was wishing and intending for and what I was trying to do, just so that I can then, as that stuff comes to life and manifest, that I'm able to look back. But the symbolism of everything that you're doing, I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the big takeaways that I had from that Jan Spiller book was, making sure that you use phrases and clauses that bring these things in easily for your best and highest good in a happy and healthy way. I think we all want to be millionaires, but in a happy and healthy way, or to easily find ourselves becoming millionaires or something like that. But it's just sometimes those like small conditional phrases are really important, as you're asking for something to come into your life.
And the concept of moving with the new energy, not maintaining, like being stuck, is a really important piece too. I'm talking with and my Auntie Leah next week about manifestation, and one of the things that I know from manifestation is that you got to pair that with action. And so I think when we're setting wishes, when we're setting intentions, it's so important to make sure that you're being cognizant of if you're getting stuck in the old way of doing things, if you're being inundated with that pattern, or still reacting the same way, or going the same path, and really taking action to get on that new path, and taking actions and making concrete steps towards whatever it is that you're wishing and manifesting, because you got to pair the action with the intent, because we're in the physical world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know last week we talked about like a few steps that Jake and I traditionally have for any sort of lunar cycle ritual that we do. In that we talked about, creating your space, using sage or incense. And I definitely think, after you've created your space, you've calmed your mind, that's kind of when you can get into this sort of work. So if you were listening a couple weeks ago, just remember that it's really important to ground yourself in first, to create that space, and to really be ready, both emotionally, physically, to do something like this.
Absolutely.
So I
Sorry,
think
y'all.
we have a
I'm keep
few.
getting distracted by the light, because it's just I forgot that the sun keeps moving. It moves, and so the light was fine, but I really should have put the blinds down, because now I'm getting blasted and I'm like sweating. And just hang with me here, folks. We're doing fine.
If you want
I
to
really
pull
love
up the
the slides.
yeah. I can talk about it if you want to go adjust your blinds.
Oh, sure. There we go. I'll let you go.
So, in general, when the new moon is in Taurus, there's a lot of Taurian topics that you could be setting intentions or writing wishes around. I think one of the most clear and obvious ones is around your resources, your finances, your material possessions, anything that you have inside of your physical world. And I think Jake will read us a nice sample wish as well.
I will. And
Good
thank you,
timing.
Laura. Yes, showered in golden light. Yes. All right. So, sorry, which one are we on? Resources. Yeah. So one of the sample wishes that we picked out, that we thought was great, was, I want to easily find myself creating financial independence in a happy way. Simple, to the point, but also, it has that easily, it has that happy, those modifiers, right? That's the English term for it. Those help to be specific, right? Because you don't want to be super general with your wishes, because then you're generally not going to know what's going to happen, right? The next one that we had was life's pleasures, gratitude, and enjoyment. And I think that, I know for me personally, gratitude has been coming up a lot. And this idea of switching your mindset to being grateful, and really focusing on those pieces of your life that you're grateful for. And I think life's pleasures is something that sometimes gets a bad rap. We think about excess, and we think about, gluttony, and like all these ways that you can go too far with life's pleasures, but you can also go too far the wrong way. And then you're not living that physical life that you're here to live. And I think that that's a big theme that's being highlighted here. And the wish that we picked out for this theme was, I want to easily find myself consciously and consistently appreciating the abundance of life, and Mother Nature, which I think is a beautiful one, because of course Taurus is very earthy. It's all about that connection to Mother Earth, and we couldn't be living on Earth if Earth wasn't a thing, right?
Mm. Even just going through these right now, Jake, like I just need to like bold and double underline here. It's so important inside of this new moon cycle to take time for yourself, to do some of the reflection, to align yourself with where you want to be going. I'm just like instantly calmed by hearing some of these. And I think that there's a lot of power right now in finding that break, finding that moment, creating the calm for yourself, because there's a lot going on. Anyways, now would be a great time again to be focused on anything that you're needing for self-worth, self-love, acknowledging your own needs. Venus can be about, it's definitely a relational planet. And so the relationship here that's really important is that with yourself and prioritizing that. Jake, do we have a sample wish on self-worth?
We do. We highlighted a couple, actually.
Yeah,
I'm going to pick this one. I want to easily find myself communicating my needs to others in a way that encourages them to support me. The other one was, I want the tendency to undervalue myself easily lifted from me, which I also think is a good one. The self-worth themes, the personal acceptance or the self-acceptance was what really resonated with me. And so that's some of what we'll be working with in the activation, or that's kind of the lens that'll be going in. So definitely stay tuned for that. We'll be getting into that in just a moment here. But the last theme that we thought of highlighting for this Taurus new moon is the health and body piece, which is one of the things that we love most about this book, is that it brings in that physical component. These are a lot of like themes that are concepts, and so the throat, the thyroid, the neck are all Taurian associated. And one of the things that we really thought was cool about this was the idea that or the fact that the thyroid is shaped like a butterfly, and it's right on the front of your neck. It's involved in the metabolism and like the hormones that are involved in metabolizing food and kind of converting that energy. And I think it really speaks to that idea of transformation too, especially with the Pluto influences here. And so I think if you're struggling with speaking your truth, or you're struggling with speaking up for yourself, or voicing your needs, or any of those kind of themes, that's something that I've found through my work and through the work of other hypnotists, is that thyroid issues are often at that more metaphysical level, or that not just the physical side of things. It's really about that speaking your truth, speaking up, letting your words out. And if you're suppressing that, if you're not, that's when you can run into those thyroid issues. So thought that was really interesting and a cool little fact for you all. Any last thoughts here on intentions and wishes, Corbin, before we move on?
No, just to reiterate, I think this is really the time. If you haven't done this before, I think it's really important right now. There's so much wild, crazy energy going on with all the air and fire signs out there. We need to grab a little bit of this earth energy to help ground us and bring us into the present. Once you take care of yourself, putting on your mask before putting it on somebody else, you just really have to take care of home base first. And this moon is such a good reminder to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Well, all right. We are getting close to the hour here, so I definitely want to jump into that activation. This will be about 15 minutes or so, I think. So excuse me, guys. So if you aren't able to stay for this, or if you're not in the space or mindset to do a little meditation with me, a little meditation activation here, then I definitely would recommend that you come back to this. Oh, I need to pull myself into the first spot there. All right, perfect. So if you are staying for this meditation, then I encourage you to get comfortable. At the very least, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths here. If you feel like lying down or switching your positions, just get comfortable. We won't be here too long. As you start to relax here and you start to settle into this moment, just noticing your breath and letting it deepen, slowing it down as you're concentrating on it, just in and out. Just taking another breath in and letting it out. And one more time here. Breathing in and letting that breath out. Now just picturing a white light up above your head here. Just a soft white light up by your crown. And just visualizing that light just moving down your body slowly like a wave. And as it moves, relaxing those muscles, relaxing any tensions. So visualizing that moving down your face, your forehead, softening all of those muscles around your eyes, those muscles in your face and your jaw, just letting it all relax. Moving down into your neck, your chest, down your back and down your arms. Just feeling all of that tension washing out as that white light moves down your body. Moving down your abdomen, loosening all of those muscles in your core, around your organs. Just feeling your body relaxing even deeper. Moving down your hips, down your legs, and down finally to your feet, and feeling any tensions, any tightness, all of that washing right out of your body. And now, imagining yourself in a beautiful white room. It's a beautiful room made of white marble. Looking around, noticing the tall pillars, the smooth stone, all of it polished and shining. The walls, the floor, all of it composed of this beautiful marble. Just notice that soft white light permeating the air, shining off of the stones. Noticing those patterns and swirls in the marble. Really feeling that quiet strength. And as you look around this beautiful room, noticing here and there these lush green plants, trees, maybe some flowers, beautiful greenery in pots and small beds here and there in this beautiful, gorgeous space. It's taking in this room and the plants, and as you start to wander through this space, noticing a soft sound of water trickling from a fountain tucked in amongst the greenery. Taking in all of these sights and sounds, and noticing how comfortable you feel here. It's warm. It's the perfect temperature. This feels so comfortable. Feels so good. And as you're wandering through, the scent of sweet flowers wafts through the air. There's a light breeze carrying it through. Feel that rustling your hair. Noticing how calm you feel here. how soothing this space is. Those solid white marble pillars and walls, the lush plants, the soft sounds. Just taking a deep breath in and releasing out any residual tension in your body. Just letting this calm and peaceful place soothe you. Now noticing up ahead of you, between a few of those trees, you notice a small alcove tucked in between the white marble pillars, noticing the beautiful archway leading to this space, tucked away within this garden. And you take a few steps forward, and as you enter this alcove, you notice right in the middle a large white pod. It's shaped like an egg, and it's sitting in the middle of the room. You take another step closer. You see this pod light up with a soft golden white light. You can feel the source energy, creator energy, the energy of your higher self emanating from this pod. You feel a sense of anticipation, yet still calm and comfortable, stepping towards that pod. As you step closer, it opens, and it reveals the most cozy, comfy, opulent cushions lining the inside. You gaze in, and it just looks so comfortable. How could you resist? You climb in and settle yourself into these cushions, noticing how comfortable you feel. Noticing too that it's the perfect shape. This pod was designed by you and your higher self to be a vessel of transformation. Now, as you're relaxing into these soft and comfortable cushions, the pod gently closes, and you're bathed in a beautiful golden white light of your higher self. Noticing how bright it is, noticing how calming and healing this energy feels. It's familiar. It feels comfortable because it's you. It's your higher self. You know this energy is here to assist. You came here, you came to this pod because you know it's time to reset. It's time to recalibrate. And it's time to retune to your higher self. To retune and recalibrate to your higher purpose. You are here in this pod to remember who you truly are and to consult with and be supported by your higher self. Supported by the wisdom of your soul. You felt the breakdown. You felt the death of the old, be it the old systems, the old patterns, the old beliefs, behaviors, maybe actions or ways of being. The old you has begun to be shed, and today is the next step in your soul's evolution. Whatever new start that you've been embarking on, or whatever new start you feel you are about to begin, it is time for a level up. It is time for new capacities of light codes and of your higher self energetics to come through and to come into your being. The time is now. You feel ready for this because it's right on time. You've been feeling your higher self calling you to this next phase of unfoldment. Take this and accept what resonates. Trust the feelings or messages that are coming in from your higher self. Taking a moment here in this space, in this pod. Taking a moment as you're bathed in this golden white light. And know that these upgrades, these integrations, are happening easily, naturally. Because your higher self, your guides, the angels, they're all supporting you in this. And you know that you'll only receive what you are ready for and what is for your best and highest good. Only accepting what is for your best and highest good. You are in control. You are a powerful co-creator with your higher self now. Taking another moment here, soaking it all in, feeling the love, feeling the light, receiving any messages from your higher self that they want to share with you today. And now, seeing the pod opening, seeing the light from the pod dimming, and noticing though that now it's you that is glowing. You are emanating that golden white light from your entire being. Looking down and noticing that shimmer, noticing that light. Noticing too how you feel. What sensations or thoughts, what feelings are coming up for you. Now taking a moment to really feel gratitude for yourself. Not only for you, for your higher self, for all the aspects of your soul and your soul tribe that assisted today. Feeling that gratitude for the other beings that have assisted you in your ascension journey. Really feeling this gratitude through your entire being. And now, drifting away from this garden, this pod. And we're drifting away from that space. Drifting away now, knowing that you can return. You can work with this pod and your higher self anytime you wish. We're drifting away from that place. Drifting away, and you're feeling yourself returning to your body. Returning to the here and now. Beginning to wiggle your toes and fingers. Moving your arms and your legs, feeling your breathing returning to normal. Coming back to the here and now, feeling your awareness back and fully integrated in your body. Coming back to full awareness now with the feeling of your higher self, the knowing that you've received the appropriate energies to move into this new phase of your mission. Coming back nicely now, very nicely, and now you're fully back here and now. fully back, feeling wonderful, full of that higher self energy, that higher self light. Thank you all so much for participating in that, and I really hope that it was helpful, that it was beautiful, as beautiful for you as it was for me writing it. I mean, this really just came out of me, and some of you may know I did a show with Sorita Antaria a bit ago, and this concept of higher self pods came up, and it just the idea just came to me of like integrating that into this meditation, and it just felt really on point with this concept of self-worth and of really stepping into your own, and you know, trusting in your higher self, trusting in that aspect of you, and understanding the power that you have, and the ways that that you know you're being called to step into your new power, into this next phase. And I really do feel like it is maybe not just this moment. I think we're in a period of that new step, but yeah, all the love to you guys.
Yeah, that was really great, Jake. Our process for pulling these shows together, we each individually do our own thing, and then we come together. And every place that Jake was coming from, I was like, yes, that is the right perspective. You're totally on topic. Like we need that break. And the pod, again, that's something that we can all go back to, and to hold us throughout this season of change.
Mm-hmm. The one last note that I wanted to add was that it was just too funny, the synchronicities. I had a session this week, and in that client's regression, they went to a white marble pearly gates-esque setting, and it's too much to get into right now, like the whole story that was involved. But I just thought it was just too synchronistic that came through. And keep in mind, I'd written this, I think last weekend or last week. I don't remember exactly when I wrote it, but I wrote it before this session. And to have that same kind of setting come through, I was like, okay, cool. I'm on to something here. And I mean, I'm fully aware that my higher self helps me with this sort of a thing, and certainly helps to bring those thoughts to mind, or give me that creative spark to dive into. So super fun, super cool. Wanted to share that with you guys. More coming from that session, of course. I mean, it was just this week, so I got a little bit of processing to do there, but wanted to share that bit. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It is past the hour here, and so definitely appreciate you all staying, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and your beautiful words in the chat around the activation. I'm so glad that it resonated with you guys. I am going to
thank you for listening to the Astrology. I just love chatting about this kind of a thing so much. This is definitely like the bright spot of my week. So
yeah, and thank you for sharing your knowledge with us, Corbin, because like Beth said earlier, it was beautifully deep and concise, and you just hit on such good stuff. And I mean, when I'm doing this, I'm not always listening as closely because I'm focused on the administrative side of things. So definitely one that I'm going to go back and listen to again. But before we let you go, remember, bookings and info about my practice are on my website here. In case you don't know, I do offer remote sessions as well as in person in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You can check out all the details there, or reach out to me. I am definitely down to do consultations and chat about what your goals are and what you're looking for out of hypnosis. Also, make sure that you come and join me and Leah next week. We are going to be talking about manifestation. It's going to be so fun. I'm super excited for this show. And yeah, I'm excited for you guys to meet my Auntie Leah, because she is great. And on top of that, she's brilliant with manifestation. So I'm so excited to pick her brain and dive into that. All right. Other than that, thank you so much, Lynn. We are so glad to have you here. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sylvia. we are definitely sending all of you love as well. And those of you watching on replay, thank you so much. Sending you love as well. And we look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks for the next full moon, which I think you said was Scorpio.
Scorpio, yeah, Scorpio full moon.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be a fun one. All right, guys, sending you all the love and hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, wherever you are, and enjoy the weekend, enjoy your time, and we'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.